Good Thursday evening, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center taking a look at that current Doppler radar here across North Florida and South Georgia. You can see here a little bit of scattered shower action as we're looking up toward Albany there in that general vicinity. We'll zoom in a little bit tighter. You see maybe some light rain extending up into Lee County, a little bit toward Moultrie, Tifton, a little heavier there as we're looking southwest of Dawson, and then as we get up west of Ashburn, a little bit of heavier downpour activity as well. But overall, things pretty tame. But you see more moisture here in the Gulf of Mexico. I know it looks like we could have a pretty wet start here as we're looking ahead on that Friday. Some model discrepancies, though, do exist. I know we had a pretty wet period here this afternoon for some of us further off to the east earlier in the afternoon, and then even late morning there toward areas, I know Franklin County even. So just kind of intriguing to see a little bit of a pattern change here. And then on Saturday, it really looks wet here for the area. 70% chance of that precipitation. Expecting pretty widespread coverage here. Pretty widespread coverage. So keep that in mind. I know we'll just kind of see how things go between Friday and Saturday as well there. That transition, that Jaguar preseason game there at home against the Cleveland Browns could be impacted by some storminess. We'll just wait and see. May just be lingering moisture at that point, but it's kind of iffy here. And then as we look towards Saturday, I know the Buccaneers will be playing there against the Dolphins. See how that game impacted down there in west central Florida by some rain. We'll see if some storms are still around. It's kind of iffy because storms lining up at a precise time of a game in a specific spot kind of tough to pinpoint here from time to time, especially in this pattern. It's not like a swell line like we'd be tracking maybe in November or something like that. There is a front involved, but it's a little bit more of a stationary type situation. So just kind of bear that in mind as we look at these current temperatures across the region right now. I mean, we're sitting in the upper 70s many spots here. If you like that kind of weather, that's what we're dealing with, and that's what we've been dealing with here for a while in some regard. I mean, just sometimes for a while it doesn't change too much here. I know 78 toward Gainesville, 77 Keystone. Where I'm at, we're actually down to 75 east of Stark. We picked up 6/100ths of an inch of rain here today, and then as I go on over to the rainfall over the last 12 hours, you can see some of that rain further west in that little corridor there as we got toward Live Oak up into towards South Georgia. I know we had a warning or two as we were getting up there. I know yesterday really had some nasty weather toward Albany. The church damage there in that vicinity from the second round of storms. Some pretty significant straight line wind damage. So that's just something to keep in mind. And just kind of keep our eyes on. Hopefully we won't get too many severe storms as we look ahead, but it is possible we'll have some strong and severe activity over the next couple of days here. Hopefully the accent maybe won't be able to ramp up as much at times because of the reduced temperatures here that'll be in play here at points, but I definitely can have some strong activity in this type of situation. So we'll keep you guys advised beyond if and as necessary on the different platforms. You always have those alerts, Cloud_X on Twitter as well to keep you guys up to date. Just get those instant alerts, Roy. And then another thing I want to mention here while we're looking at the area, kind of hard to believe, but 18 years ago Saturday, we had Hurricane Charlie come ashore there in southwestern Florida. It ended up heading around Punta Gorda. The Category 4 was forecasted to specifically hit the Tampa Bay area there as we were kind of looking at things there ahead of time, and that would have been catastrophic. Tampa Bay really overdue for a significant hurricane strike, but you just never know when that'll be, obviously. Could be this year, could be 50 years from now, 100 years from now. It's been about 100 years or so since I really had a direct hit there from a hurricane where the storm surge threat is magnified, but they ended up hitting there southwest Florida, the worst of it, Punta Gorda, going up through central Florida and then going off the coast before it really made a huge impact on most of our area. Now Flagler County, the coastal areas there, had some pretty strong winds up towards St. John, Duval. I remember some of that coverage from that storm so long ago now, if you can believe it, 18 years. I still have a newspaper page there on one of my walls here in the Weather Center from that scenario from the Orlando Sentinel. Actually got that a couple days after the storm came through down in Gainesville. But just interesting to think about here. They used to have those down there in Gainesville, and just a pretty interesting situation to get that inland threat. It was just the start of things to come, because then we had Francis and Jean, and those had impacts down there and up here, more substantial ones. So just kind of intriguing here to think about. It was just a terrible Friday the 13th there in 2004 when that came ashore there in Southwest Florida around Punta Gorda. As you see right now, not much going on down here. Just a few little showers there on the board. You see Punta Gorda there, and temperatures in the lower 80s. Right now, tropics look pretty good here. As we go ahead and transition into that right now, I do have our nameless pulled on up, so let's go ahead and show you guys that here. We keep showing you guys this, and not a lot changing with this graphic, and that's actually a good thing here as we do look ahead at what type of storms here that we could have. Some of those will be hurricanes, more than likely, and 15 more are expected from Colorado State there as we do look ahead into toward that timeline, but no major threats currently here. There is a pretty high chance that we have some type of major storm to track here later on this hurricane season, though we haven't really had anything too substantial as of yet. Haven't had really any hurricane activity out there, and in the Atlantic anyway. Pacific a different story, but Danielle, Earl, Fiona, Gaston, the next names, just be prepared. I mean, you don't want to take this time that we have without a threat for granted, because things can change rapidly in the hurricane season. Sometimes the strongest storms are the ones that develop here quickly. The strongest storms at landfall I'm talking about. They can sneak up on you. Michael there, I mean, just a few days before, I was just getting formed on that Sunday, and then by Wednesday it was a Category 5 monster toward Mexico Beach and Panama City. So you just never know, but we also have had quiet hurricane seasons. Maybe that'll be this year, or one that we end up dealing with. It's not 100% set in stone. Still, the indications are we are more likely than not going to have an active season in the basin. Does that mean we'll have storms here? Maybe not. Maybe but it's all recurve in the Atlantic based on some pressure patterns, maybe fronts coming through. And it's kind of interesting here, seeing that front now. That would kind of be a steering mechanism if we had a storm around. But luckily, we don't have any storms around, so we don't have to worry about it in that regard, though that could end up kind of helping things be better or worse for some different areas, depending on how the overall setup is. But as we get to the next 7 days now, that rainfall forecast here, you can see that precipitation forecast shows toward North Florida, some spots around 2 inches or so here on average, but isolated areas there could end up picking up quite a bit more than that. It just depends on how things set up. You see the accent focus more on North Florida than South Georgia. I know we've had that Saharan dust around here. That's kind of been an interesting storyline. Try to get some of that pushed out there, areas further north at least. So just kind of intriguing there, that storyline, that information here, something that you guys may want to know, because that's definitely been kind of making things a little bit awkward outside, if you want to call it that. As we'll go ahead and transition now. cloudweather.com/radar. Interactive look at things when we're not on the air. I know when we're not on, you can still zoom in, zoom around, and zoom toward your area to get an idea of where the storms are setting on up. Just kind of figure things out there. We also have interactive forecast maps on the homepage. If you scroll down just past some of the forecast information that I'll be updating here in just a little bit here with what we're doing right now. And then as we look toward that 7-day forecast, though, just remember that thunderstorm activity can be dangerous. When thunder roars, just go indoors here. You can see 60% chance of rain tomorrow, 70% on Saturday there. You can see cooling off here a little bit in the morning. By the time we get to Monday, drying out some as well in that time frame. But as we get up toward Tuesday there, you can see temperatures increasing. Afternoon, 93 degrees, going to be warm. Just be careful. But then more rain coming in. I guess this is that time of year here. This type of pattern that we're in, you see 60% chance of rain on Wednesday and Thursday here. So just kind of watch things. You see the averages pretty similar here to what we're dealing with right now on the board. So definitely just kind of continue to kind of watch things here as they progress, as they develop here in the Weather Center with different systems that kind of influence the weather forecast, that weather pattern. But right now, stalled out final boundary going to be the story here over the next couple of days. Of course, we'll be on if and as needed when storms do potentially become severe here, and we'll be giving you that latest information as it is warranted. Of course, though, again, when we're not on the air, you have me posting alerts on different accounts, and then the auto alerts, Cloud_WX on Twitter. Whenever one of those alerts gets issued by the Jacksonville Tallahassee office, severe thunderstorm, tornado, flood advisory, flood warning, flash flood warning, you'll get it there. Sometimes we don't put out everything like flood advisories, flood warnings. Won't really generally put those out. So that's a valuable Twitter account to kind of keep your eyes on here as well. For as that gets 61 of our 62 counties, plus some others now Levy and the Tampa jurisdiction, we're keeping close eye on their weather as well down towards Cedar Key and that area, and we'll be sure to post things as necessary in that regard. But let's go ahead and show you a look at the local picture again. You see some of those storms there trying to get going to some extent. Is there any lightning right now? There is down here, so you can officially call them storms in the Gulf to see how things kind of come together for that Friday here. But let's go ahead and see real quick traffic camera. Jacksonville, I know we were showing you some of these this afternoon with the storminess around there. The 511 perspective, I-95 at Hendricks Avenue, we had some backed up cars there on the roadways. That definitely intriguing. Just be careful when you're out on the roads, when you have those rain showers and those storms around. Just got to take that extra caution. We ended up having a tree blow down there close to the ward. The beaches there in Jacksonville and in Duval County earlier on. So that didn't even take a severe thunderstorm warning in that situation to cause something like that to occur. I just got to be careful. Gotta just be mindful. I mean, most of the time, though, things are pretty good. You can enjoy. Don't get me wrong here. I don't want to be too negative, but just whenever there are threats around, whether it's heat, whether it's severe weather, you just gotta always be careful. Even just lightning doesn't take a severe storm, as we've referenced here plenty before, to be problematic. So, again, though, the good thing right now, nothing in the tropics, no big weather system to watch. There's going to be a frontal boundary involved with our forecast, and we'll see if that kind of enhances here some of that moisture. It more than likely will, as we've been talking about, though, and that'll be something that we'll need to kind of keep our eyes out for. Make sure we don't get any severe weather that evolve, severe storms to evolve is what I'm trying to say there. But if they do, we'll be here with you as needed. And again, the alerts are posted on the different accounts as well. But for now, thanks so much for tuning in. Let's see if there's anything else we need to go over. I don't think there is here on this Friday. I know back to school, some of those counties, we will mention that real quick. Back to school there as we look ahead toward that Monday in Duval County, for instance. So just be ready. Go back to school there. Weather conditions look better for Monday there, probably than any in the next 7 days in terms of that precipitation forecast. So that's something to be excited about as well. Have a great night, everybody, and have a great weekend.